Hey,
Hello, Dami.
how's
How's
it?
Canada?
Canada's nice, much like its people. So,
Canada is cold.
it might be cold, but we're full of warm-blooded individuals. Know what I mean,
Oh, okay, I got you.
yeah. But happy holidays to you. And I'm sure by the time this video releases, people will be very festive and very, into whatever holidays they're doing. So, happy
Yeah,
holidays.
probably.
Um, Yeah, so Canada being where I live, but let's talk about homeland, back I'm from Africa, and what's in Africa? Beasts. So
It's
let's talk about
alive.
a live beast, big beasts, men that think they're beasts. Um, but then again, everyone thinks they're a beast to some extent. But yeah, let's talk about the 2002 um, movie that came out featuring Idris Elba, Shatara Kopri, about a man that brought his two daughters back to his home country of South Africa to reconnect with their family roots, particularly their mom's roots, and essentially they get stranded in a little game reservation that's not overrun, but like that has lions and beasts and animals of all sorts. And this one lion has a vendetta against men that seem to have hunters that seem to have killed the rest of his pride. So he takes his revenge on Idris Elba and his pack. Sorry. So this hour and a half movie, considered a thriller, um, was had a budget of 36 million, made 59 million in box office. So I guess that's a little bit of commercial success. Um, and it really was like, what's going to happen next. So there are some realism, some unrealistic elements of some people going hand to hand pretty much with a lion or foot to face most times. Um, and there was even a part where one of his daughters like stuck this lion with a tranquilizer. I was like, that girl brave. So
The
um
older daughter was a kind of stupid. Like,
yeah,
I guess the writer basically like wanted her to be like brave and like doing like being smart ass, but
yeah,
she was just making like a kind of stupid, like I don't know, like she was just acting very stupid. Like in
dude,
the
it
middle
was,
of, they were about to getting eaten by the lion. She's like, "Oh, that's what you did with your mom," and the lion is about to eat them. Like I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
well, no, I think yeah, I get it. Like, there is definitely underlying issues that was going on in the family, that especially with the loss of a mother, that she was forced to be a mother, or she was forced to,
yeah, but not
you
in
know,
the middle of that the lion is about to eat them. She's just trying to hash out everything that was
look,
happening,
man.
or honking on the horn in the middle of nowhere in an African wilderness. I'm like, girl.
Hmm. So I'm guessing you're referring to the eldest, who's Nora, who was played by Leah Jeffries. Um, yeah, I guess the writer wants to use her as a plot carrier, I guess, right? So someone to bring information, and bring new information about the past, and also to drive the plot to go forward, which happens sometimes in movies with very small casting, right? You need to have some people with some depth, or some very shallow people that just are there for the sake of filling up space and looking pretty on screen. Um, the movie to me was, it's a movie, right? So there's definitely unrealistic elements to it. Um, for me, I what I thought was interesting was um, their uncle, which was played by South African actor Shelto Colbury. Some people might recognize him from District 8. Um, his sacrifice for the family, and also, going off to go face this lion when he didn't need to, kind of thing. Or um, to me, his character was a little bit of a lackluster, and it's a little bit of a waste of an actor. I'm not gonna lie, because we only just got to meet him for like 5 minutes. Then he gets mauled by a lion, and he's just, then he's essentially a wounded soldier that's been left and stranded. And we didn't get to spend that much time with him, because if anyone's ever even seen District 9, or even Chappie, if I remember, he was in Chappie too. He was a very strong actor. So I think this movie is for someone who kind of wants to unplug a little. Definitely go out there and just see what, okay, what would I do if I was faced with a lion? Could I be as brave as Idris Elba's daughters, or would I just be one of those guys that just hits the road and run? So
No, I would have been eaten.
you would have been
Sure.
eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would be the lion's friend to see if we can get along very well. But if not, I would have been eaten. In this movie, what was so unrealistic, it could have been eaten like 100 times. And I was like that was, for me, it was a kind of unrealistic. And but what I really like about this movie was the performance of what's that called?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. I think he was great, and he wasn't like only caring about his daughters, but you could have seen this consistent. He's like fierce, consistent, like adrenaline that he had to maintain all the time with the lion. So I really like his performance, and that, the way that he was like, he was in that situation. So I could really feel. But the rest, okay, and the lion was also good. The lion,
the CGI'd lion. Yeah. No, but yeah. So do you remember, this is not the only movie that Idris has been in with Beast? Do you remember the other movie that he features in? Has Beast in the title?
No, I know Beauty and the Beast.
No, so Beast of No Nation. So another movie that came out like 2008 era, where he was essentially a war slumdog in Africa, and he was essentially creating children army soldiers, right? So child soldiers, sorry. And that to me was another, yeah, I guess maybe he's really trying to show some hardships of Africa, what can happen in Africa, and him being a very predominantly well-known African American or African British actor. He's trying to bring more eyes towards, there's more things that can be done in Hollywood than always having things happen in North America or Europe, kind of thing. You can bring it back to Africa. But overall, the movie was okay. Okay. It definitely didn't win any awards for cinematography or even music, but however, they did try to try and show that Africa is not Africa had some beauty to it. But maybe if you notice that they kind of went with the stereotypical Africa, because it had people that live out in huts or in like very basic housing, and they went out with basic tools to go hunt and survive, kind of thing. But however, Africa is much more than that, right? So we have metropolitan cities, airports, all this kind of stuff. So maybe a movie like this might mislead some people in thinking this is what the whole Africa looks like, or particularly South Africa. But again, this was because it was a game reserve. It showed a very limited view or perception of Africa. But alas, that's just me, being someone with African roots and being born in Africa. but yeah, so overall, was there one big scene that jumped out to you, or one character that you love of it and Idris?
No.
No? Okay. Uh, for me, though, what really shocked me, I'm not gonna lie, was um the amount of gore, I guess, right? Because there is definitely some scenes where we saw victims of the lions attacked, and they were like severely gnawed or like cut up. I was like, oh, I was not expecting that, but they showed it on screen, and that kind of sat with me for a little bit. I was like, oh god. So anytime they said, oh, this the lion or like something has come attacked this victim, and then there'll be a victim on the floor, I'd be like, I would hold my mouth a little just in case I saw something like gruesome, like throw up, come out of the chest or the stomach, or deep wounds. But all in all, it was all right. So how would you score this movie out of 10?
5.
5. um for me, I would give it yeah, I'll give it like a I'll be nice, 5. The true me will say like 4, just because it's not like a blockbuster or anything like that. It's a movie you kind of just see once and maybe you might forget about it. So we'll say Rotten Tomato, sorry, as salty popcorn rating of 4.5. So IMDb gave it 5.6 and Rotten Tomato gave it 68%. So majority of people enjoyed it. Critics gave it a pass, which is good. But yeah, so we'll see what other wonderful adventures Idris might get into. I just remember, like, now I think about it, Pacific Rim was another movie that he was in that I also didn't and wasn't emphatic about it. So Idris has not been in movies that really stood out to me as, oh, these are great. But who knows, man? The man still got a lot of years in front of him, so maybe he might surprise
Yeah.
us and go for
But I'm
something
sure if
classic.
it wasn't for Idris Elba, no one would have watched this movie. So he was the one that people basically like they were like curious to know what's this movie about.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's true. So like I remember him being in Luther. That was a really breakout role for me for him. But I guess there's another movie that he was in recently, 3,000 Years of Longing. Also another all right movie. But yeah, the guy's not been any sort of big standout roles. Sonic 2. He was he was Spike. So who knows? Maybe he'll give us something that really will hit home. But alas, that's it. Anyways, so everyone that's listening, like, subscribe, share. Thank you very much for being here. Definitely let us know what movies or show that we need to watch this holiday season, and everyone stay out of trouble and stay warm. Okay.
Okay, Merry Christmas in advance.
And happy holidays. All right.
Bye.
Bye.